Could the Minnesota Vikings be bringing back a familiar face? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Let's get right to it. But before we do, shout out to our partners at Green Gridiron. If you want one of these mini helmets, feel free to hit the link I have pinned in the comment section and use promo code MINSYN at checkout, MINSYN, to receive a small discount on your purchase. And if they already have current deals going on, you can stack the promo code and add an additional percentage off your purchase. They have NFL helmets, college helmets, fully customizable ones, even the big replicas, ones that you can actually wear on a football field with no worries, basically. So shout out to Green Gridiron. Make sure to use that promo code after you hit the link to receive something off of your purchase. So, could the Minnesota Vikings be bringing back a familiar face? Who is the person we're talking about? Well, he was a wide receiver here for multiple years. It's KJ Osborn, who was just released or cut or waived, whatever you want to say, by the New England Patriots because he hasn't really had that great of a season. Plus, let's be honest, the New England Patriots aren't really that good this season. So let's get into it. After 4 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, wide receiver KJ Osborn wound up signing a contract with the New England Patriots earlier this year. Now with the Patriots, Osborn was hoping to prove that he could be a reliable number 1 or number 2 receiver in the NFL after spending multiple seasons as the number 3 pass catcher in Minnesota. Unfortunately for Osborn, this season in New England has arguably been the most difficult of his pro career since entering the NFL in 2020. So far this year, the former Vikings receiver has only caught 7 passes for 57 yards and just 1 touchdown pass in 7 appearances. That's not great. That's something I think us as Minnesota Vikings fans didn't think was possible, right? Especially for KJ Osborn, who had multiple seasons of over 100 yards, right? Now, Osborn is still young enough. He's only 27. To get things back on track in 2025, but he's likely going to have to prove himself all over again in order to make a significant impact somewhere else next season. But don't be surprised if KJ Osborn re-signs with the Minnesota Vikings in 2025 after a terrible stint with the New England Patriots. I'd even say don't be surprised if he signs back with Minnesota at some point before the season ends. I honestly think that's realistic. He knows it here. He knows the scheme, knows the system and stuff like that. Plus, we could use the extra, depth piece or, some help at the wide receiver position or in the wide receiver room. Give us a little bit more firepower, if you will, on offense. But despite his forgettable 2024 season with the Patriots, Osborn will likely have multiple teams interested in adding him when he becomes a free agent again next year, since he won't cost much to sign. It seems possible that the former Minnesota Viking wide receiver could even end up back with the Vikings in 2025 if the team is interested in re-signing him. Now, Osborn was a solid number 3 receiver for Minnesota during his tenure with the franchise, and the Vikings haven't really had this season behind Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. We have Jalen Naylor, we have Tristan Jackson, we have all these other guys, but not a solid number 3 like KJ Osborn was for us for many years. Now, in the 2023 campaign with Minnesota, Osborn finished with 48 catches for 540 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's way better than what he's doing with the New England Patriots this season, or what he did do with the New England Patriots this year. Now, compare these numbers to current Vikings wide receiver 3 Jalen Naylor from this year, who has 18 catches for 270 and 5 scores in 13 games. More touchdowns, but way less yards compared to what Osborn did for us. But at the same time, Jalen Naylor's basically on pace for a way better season than Osborn had, touchdown-wise and stuff like that. There's only 4 games in the season. I doubt he reaches, 48 catches. I doubt he reaches 540 yards, but still, you can kind of compare it that way. We could use some more depth at wide receiver. Give us maybe another 4th-string wide receiver, or help us shore up that number 3 spot. Even though I really like Jalen Naylor, he stayed healthy for the most of this season, and he's looked phenomenal. That's all you can ask for, right? Now, even if Osborn isn't guaranteed the number 3 spot on Minnesota's roster next season, he might just want to return to the team because he enjoyed his time with the organization. Since Kevin O'Connell became the franchise's head coach in 2022, the Vikings have developed a culture that free agents want to become a part of, and it's safe to say Osborn hasn't had a similar experience during his time in New England this year. So could the Minnesota Vikings be bringing back KJ Osborn? I'm all for it. I think what we've seen from him while he was a Minnesota Viking was, okay. It was decent football. I think we could use his talents, especially just to add more depth. He should be really cheap. Maybe if it's not this year, potentially look at re-signing him back to the squad next year. I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of the night, folks, and Skol Vikes.